Muslim family killed in premeditated hit and run in London, Ontario. While our great Canadian leaders take the time to politicize the matter and score brownie points for the next election. This is the Great White North Report. Okay, so unfortunately this happened really close to home for me. I don't live too far from the city of London, and 3 adults and 1 teen were killed, and a 9-year-old child is in hospital with serious injuries following a Sunday incident where this 20-year-old kid decided to ram his van into a family that happened to be Muslim. Now, was he looking for this particular family? No. Now, I feel really bad for the family. This isn't what you want to see this close to home. This is something I associate with Toronto, not London. And it's a tragedy for everybody involved. There's 3 adults are dead, 1 teen is dead, a 9-year-old kid has no more family. Family's gone. And then you got a 20-year-old kid who messed up in the head who's going to spend the rest of his life in jail for something stupid as this. I don't care whether it's happened to a Muslim, a Christian, a Jewish person, a Hindu, a Buddhist, a Taoist, whatever. It's a tragedy in every shape and form, any way you want to look at it. Now, this guy's going to face 4 counts of murder, 1 count of attempted murder when he slammed his pickup truck, and police believe that he was targeted attack on a Muslim family of 5. Well, he targeted not on the family itself, but on a Muslim person. He was looking. Now, they're going to do terrorist charges against this guy, and they're going through his personal life with a fine-tooth comb right now, finding out why, how, when, and why he decided to do this. But the evidence points that it was premeditated, and the family targeted because of their Muslim faith. Now, I myself don't particularly like Islam, the religion itself, but I don't hate the Muslim people. In fact, I work with a lot of Muslims, and everything's fine. I talk to them at work, and I have a few Muslim friends. I wish the Islam would change back to its Nabatean roots, not the 9th and 10th century standard Islamic narrative. So the 74-year-old woman was killed, a 46-year-old man, a 44-year-old woman, husband and wife, obviously, and their 15-year-old daughter were all killed. Now, this thing does happen, unfortunately. It happened in Toronto not too long ago. A Muslim man rammed a van, killed 10 people in Toronto, when this guy rented a van and rampaged along a Yonge Street sidewalk in 2018. So this does happen. There's a history of this happening. Nova Scotia, there was a guy, a former dentist, physician, took a gun and started shooting people. Now, Trudeau gets on the floor. He condemns the London hit and run that left 4 members dead. He calls it a terrorist attack. Brutal, cowardly, brazen attack on a Muslim family. Terrorist assault motivated by religious hatred. Same thing, Singh, the NDP. Today is a hard day because they're targeted because of their Muslim faith. And of course, Singh has to draw the link between today's attack and the preliminary report on Indigenous children found buried. That's apples and oranges. It's a totally different thing. But he's just trying to make a political statement to make himself look good because the last election, the NDP got hammered and lost a lot of their influence and power. Singh is trying to make a comeback and using this incident as a springboard for that. And I find that offensive that he would use things like this to further his own political gain. Same with Trudeau. Trudeau's the same way. O'Toole, because he's conservative, he knows it doesn't matter what he says. People, especially in the Toronto region, are going to think conservatism is far right. And they're going to draw those comparisons, and the Liberals and NDP will take advantage of that. But O'Toole also spoke out against it. Singh goes on, the reality is this is our Canada. How many families will be killed before we do something? Are you kidding me? This happens very rarely compared to many other countries. The irony is that around the world, more Christians are targeted by Muslims than Muslims by Christians. Go look at Pakistani's blasphemy laws. Trudeau said politicians must push back against their fear and anxiety that directs itself at minorities. First of all, for most minorities, there's not really that much. The pandemic has definitely rattled some nerves. When you have nothing to do and you can't go anywhere, a lot of people go to the internet, and that's where stupid things happen. People get wrapped up in stuff, drama. And that's going to happen. That happened 100 years ago. It's going to happen today. It's going to happen 100 years from now. It's human nature, and you can't change it, unfortunately. I wish we could. So what happened? All the major party leaders will travel to London today on government planes instead of just driving down for a vigil service at the mosque the victims attend regularly. But Trudeau's got his photo opportunity to make himself look good. And I think it's just a political game for these guys. Yeah, they feel sorry, but deep down they're like, wow, this is a great opportunity to get some photo shots in before an election. The NDP and the Liberals are who the Muslim community mostly vote for. They don't vote conservative, even though they themselves are very conservative in their ways. That's the irony of it. Basically what this guy was, I think, he was a lone wolf terrorist. And this has been happening more and more frequently. The guy in New Zealand who killed 25 people, or was it 50? In New Zealand, He was by himself, and he admitted as such. He told us such when he wrote his little last words, manifesto or whatever it was. He said he was by himself. He just got sick of everything. And that will happen. Especially with this critical race theory bullshit they're putting on us. This stuff like this is going to happen more and more. So Trudeau vows to fight far-right groups after Muslim family slain. First of all, far-right... What far-right group? The Proud Boys don't exactly do this kind of stuff. And this is the guy who gives cash to Hamas influence groups. We just gave $25 million to Gaza Relief after Hamas launched a war against Israel, and Israel retaliated. So Trudeau is just a hypocrite of the finest. So what does he mean by going after far-right groups? Well, it's going to come to this: censorship. Bill C-10 and the Liberals are planning to regulate the internet. C-10 says it will ensure Canadian artists are supported as their work is increasing consumed on global streaming giants. Critics warn it could potentially curtail freedom of speech and limit access to some websites. Look at Twitter. Twitter bans people regularly. Even though when they got banned from Nigeria, Twitter said it's a human right to have Twitter. But meanwhile, they'll ban whoever they want. And Twitter isn't even in China, so go figure. This is the type of thing that will come to Canada. The government will decide what is good and what is not, or they'll have some company decide what is good and what is not. So there are a lot of things that could be construed. It's all about perception. Some guy behind a control doesn't like what you post, he will delete it and ban you because of that person's opinion. So what's going to happen is the Liberals are going to use this van attack and the findings of the police find out this guy, this 20-year-old kid, he's just basically a kid still, even though he's classified as an adult. They find out he was influenced by certain far-right groups, anything like that, then they are going to push for this C-10 bill. And it's definitely going to cause a lot of things. It's like in the United States with Facebook, Twitter, Google. I, for one, am not for C-10. I think it's a bad idea. And it could be definitely used in the wrong way. So I'm really upset that our politicians are using this horrific event to further their own political goals. My heart goes out to the 9-year-old kid who lost his family. And I hope that kid can recover somewhat. Look at this event and say, hey, I want to make a difference in the world, make it a better place. So this stuff doesn't happen again. I don't want him to turn the other way like that 20-year-old kid did. But anyway, my thoughts go out to that kid. I know it's hard to lose parents. And any Canadians out there, let me know what you guys thought of the incident and what you thought of our glorious politicians. Leave your comments below. And until next time, this has been the Great White North Report.